Welcome back to the channel. Today we're working on the 240 again. I found some injectors, some drop-in injectors, XAT Racing. They've got the top's just 11mm to 14mm O-ring adapter with a clip to hold it all together, and then the bottom's got another sleeve to adapt it to. So I was gonna do some working around and try to figure that out, but I think they were $650. That's about the going rate for good injectors anyway, so those will be on the way. I don't have to figure that out. That's done. Those will just drop in. So we're gonna do everything else that we can to get ready, so hopefully when they get here I can put them in and fire this turret up. So let's get after it. So we're gonna work on what we can work on. So I've got the blower unbolted. We're gonna have to put the hole in the plate for the air to pass through. So we're gonna have to mark this to get the holes in it. The bypass will be back here, and then a triangle or a square, it really doesn't matter. It's not that sensitive. And then we're gonna cut out a lot of this crap, all the extra. We're not gonna make it exact, because that would take for frickin' ever, and I just don't feel like doing that. And we've also got to figure out some of the bolt holes, which you'll see more clearly soon. You can see threaded. Some of these, there's still some aluminum under it, so I'm going to have to mark it and drill it so it's got a place for the bolt to go through, so I don't have to have the bolt just the right length. But then there's one right here, if you can see the Sharpie mark right there, but the bolt is going to end up right on the rail. So that's not really going to work. Well, it'll work. I think I can drill it and tap it, but I've got to make sure whenever I put that bolt in, I've got to make sure the bolt is the right length, or else when you got the two plates and I thread the bolt in, it's just going to push the plate up and unseal it, so we don't want to do that. There's one like that right here too, probably the same thing, so it probably will be alright. I think that'll work. I'm not against just not having all the bolts in, but as long as they've got full threads and it's not pushing up, it'll be fine. So we'll get this plate off of here and probably get it chucked up in the mill and start cutting pieces off. I've also got the bandsaw. I may just take big swings with the bandsaw first. Just going to remark everything, just because all the Sharpies have been kind of getting more and more worn off, so I don't accidentally cut something off that I shouldn't. It's a lot harder to put it back. There's also two holes, one in the front, one in the back, that I hadn't drilled yet. So it's been a couple weeks. I don't remember why I didn't, but I went ahead and transfer punched them so that once I set the blower back on the plate, see if there was a reason why I didn't do that. And we'll just mark it up, get it in the mill and start cutting. Some of the spots where it gets kind of intricate doesn't really need cut out. I could just kind of go around it and be alright, but to get the injectors, to get the rail slid in, it kind of sits in these pockets, and it was tough. It was kind of tough getting them out before. You'd have to rock it just right and slide them out. So if it's not right, it'll be a pain in the butt to get the injectors in and out. Oh, this Sharpie's garbage. Or I ran it through some oil. Probably that. Fudge this one. Be alright. I think that about got it. Set this off and I'll grab the blower. There. Alright, now I know. I didn't do that because this bolt, you can see that, this back bolt ends up within half a hole of it. So we'll forget bolting the plate to it. We won't do that. We'll just use this bolt. And look at the front one. It's a pain in the butt when these things take this much time in between waiting on parts because you forget all the little things, and it only takes one mistake to cause a lot more problems. I don't see why I didn't do this front one though. No, I can go ahead and there's one right here. I can go ahead and put that in. So we'll get it up in the mill and start hacking away. I changed my mind about not drilling that back hole. So I'm going to drill this one and countersink it just like these are because it's under the blower. And that back one there, the bolts would almost be right on top of each other. But there's enough meat in the blower, I can just slot the hole on the blower and then do just like I did with this one right here where they're really close. I could do it just like that and that'll work. And then it will have all the bolts in it and we'll be fine. So I'm going to drill it with this, change out the bit, countersink it. Then we'll do that one, and then we'll start cutting all this crap out. All the holes are drilled and tapped now. So that's how close that was. I'll just have to slot the one hole in the blower, which is fine. I'm glad I did that because there's a lot of gap between this bolt and this bolt, so if it's possible for it to blow out, that's where it would do it. Everywhere else is so tight. There's so many bolts. The front, there's this gap here, but it's not that bad. So this is the biggest gap. I think I'm gonna ultra gray it. The last time I've always done that with that blower, making these plates, and usually even after several thousand miles, you got to peel that thing off of there. It's not just coming off. So I'm not worried about the 7-8 pounds of boost blowing out the ultra gray. So I've got this bit in here. Now we're going to start hogging all this crap out. And after about 6 hours of cutting and grinding, is what we got. I was going to cut all this stuff out because I thought it needed to for the injectors, but the injectors don't actually hit this. This is far enough out of the way, and making these little tabs I think is making it a little weaker. So this is the back side. So I did cut it down so you can get your hands in behind things. The front's not really a big deal. The rest of this is pretty much covered up by the blower up here. And these sides aren't gonna hurt. The fuel rail is hitting right there. And the engine, the pickup bracket's running away, so you couldn't slide it down and then back. So it's not a big deal now. That's figured out. So plate's done. I've got to get this back off. I've already cleaned up all the edges. I got to brake clean and get all the crap out of it, and a little bit of crap fell down into the ports. So I got to get it vacuumed out and blown out. Hopefully nothing stays in there. And hopefully if it does, it just blows it out the exhaust and doesn't get stuck to a valve. I believe we're finally ready to put the intake on. Hopefully for the last time. Probably not. Oh, there's probably something I missed. But we're going to get the intake bolted on, get the plate bolted on but not glued on, get the blower bolted on but not glued on, and then we'll get the belt hook back up, figure out the thermostat housing. I've got to figure out the throttle body, get the cable hooked up to it, and see how all that's going to work out. And we won't have injectors for a while. They build them to order, and they said it won't be till after Christmas when they're shipped. So I've got some time to kill, and there's a lot of little things I'm putting off on this car, so we'll just start nitpicking at it until it's right. Let's get after it. Like always, I instantly remember what I forgot. I was supposed to slot this on the blower, so I'll have to take it back off, put it in the mill, and slot that hole. Everything else seems alright. I've got to trim every bolt to make sure that it doesn't start lifting this plate off of the manifold, because some of them are right on the flanges, so they couldn't just pass through. So I'll deal with that. It looks like they're really close. Like I've got to take a thread off of each one, probably. Not a big deal. This side all went internal, no big deal. The back one, I've got to take the throttle body elbow off to put in, but also no big deal. I'm pretty stoked. I can't wait to get the hood cut up and have it sticking out. I may eventually put a cowl on it or a scoop or something, but I think it'll be cool with just the blower, seeing all this sticking out. Well, that's going to be it for today, guys. We'll just keep picking at it and making progress. Hopefully our injectors get here, and I got to figure out the TPS wiring. I wired this thing like, I think, a year and a half, 2 years ago. It's got the ECU Master standalone, so I wired everything and pinned everything, and I didn't take notes of anything. So I don't remember anything. So I'm going to have to muddle through all that and get it sorted, but anyway, thank you for watching. And if you're new, please like and subscribe.